What if I told you there's a type of money that no government can control, no bank can freeze, and no one can print endlessly? A system where you can send value to anyone, anywhere in the world without needing a bank or permission? This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's not the future. It already exists. It's called Bitcoin. But here's the real question. How does it actually work? Most people have heard of Bitcoin, but very few truly understand it. Some believe it's a revolutionary financial breakthrough. Others dismiss it as a scam, a bubble, or digital magic money. But Bitcoin is neither hype nor mystery. It's mathematics, cryptography, and economics combined to create something the world has never seen before. A truly decentralized financial system. To understand Bitcoin, you need to break away from the way you've always thought about money. Because once you do, you'll realize that Bitcoin is not just another form of payment. It's a completely different way to think about financial power. Let's dive in. Why was Bitcoin created? The broken financial system that led to it. To understand Bitcoin, you need to first understand why it was created. The year was 2008. The world was in the middle of the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. Banks were collapsing after years of reckless lending and financial manipulation. Governments stepped in to save them by printing trillions of dollars, while millions of ordinary people lost their homes and jobs. It was clear that the financial system was broken. Governments could create unlimited money out of thin air. Banks had total control over transactions, deciding who could send or receive money. People had no financial independence, only the illusion of it. And then, in October 2008, an anonymous figure, or group, using the name Satoshi Nakamoto, released a document called the Bitcoin White Paper. In it, Nakamoto described a new kind of money, one that didn't rely on banks, governments, or middlemen. Decentralized, no one controls it. Limited supply, only 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist. Permissionless, anyone can use it no matter who they are. Borderless, it can be sent anywhere in the world, instantly. Bitcoin was designed to fix the fundamental flaws of the financial system. But what makes Bitcoin different from regular money? To answer that, we need to break down how traditional money works and why it's failing. The problem with traditional money. Why Bitcoin was necessary. Most people don't question money. They use it every day. Buying food, paying rent, saving for the future. But here's the shocking truth. The money we use today, dollars, euros, yen, isn't backed by anything. It's called fiat currency, which means it has value only because governments say it does. Decades ago, paper money was backed by gold. But today, money is just numbers in a bank system, easily created or destroyed. And this system creates three massive problems. Inflation. Governments print more money whenever they need it, making the money you already have worth less. Lack of privacy. Banks track every transaction you make. Restricted access. Millions of people around the world don't even have a bank account. Bitcoin was designed to solve all of these issues. It's decentralized, meaning no single entity can control it. It's deflationary, meaning it has a fixed supply and can't be printed endlessly. It's transparent, meaning anyone can verify transactions, but no one can manipulate them. But how does Bitcoin actually work? To understand that, you need to learn about the technology behind it, the blockchain. And that's what we'll cover next. The blockchain. The backbone of Bitcoin at its core. Bitcoin is just digital information. There are no physical Bitcoins, no printed bills, no government vault storing them. Instead, Bitcoin exists on a massive decentralized ledger called the blockchain. Every Bitcoin transaction ever made is recorded on this ledger. The ledger is not controlled by a single authority. Instead, it's spread across thousands of computers worldwide. Once a transaction is recorded, it can never be changed, erased, or reversed. This system makes Bitcoin completely transparent and nearly impossible to hack. Why? Because to alter Bitcoin's history, you'd have to hack thousands of computers at the same time. This is what makes Bitcoin more secure than traditional banking systems. But how does a Bitcoin transaction actually work? Let's break it down. How Bitcoin transactions work. Sending and receiving Bitcoin. Let's say you want to send 1 Bitcoin to your friend. You open your Bitcoin wallet and enter their public address, a long string of numbers and letters that acts like an account number. You hit send. The transaction is broadcasted to the entire Bitcoin network. Computers on the network, called nodes, verify that you actually own the Bitcoin you're trying to send. Once verified, your transaction is added to a new block of transactions. This block is then permanently added to the blockchain. Once a transaction is on the blockchain, it can never be changed or deleted. That means no one can alter Bitcoin's transaction history. Not banks, not governments, not even Nakamoto. But if there are no banks involved, who actually verifies Bitcoin transactions? The answer: Bitcoin miners. Bitcoin mining, the system that keeps Bitcoin running. Bitcoin miners are the backbone of the network. They use powerful computers to solve complex mathematical puzzles. Each time a miner solves a puzzle, they confirm a new block of transactions. This block is then added to the blockchain. As a reward, the miner receives newly created Bitcoin. This process is called proof of work. It ensures that every Bitcoin transaction is verified in a secure, decentralized way, without relying on a bank. But here's where it gets interesting. Every 4 years, the reward for mining Bitcoin gets cut in half. Right now, miners earn 6.25 BTC per block. In 2024, this will drop to 3.125 BTC per block. This system is designed to slowly release Bitcoin into circulation, just like gold mining gets harder over time. That's why Bitcoin is often called digital gold. And because only 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist, it is resistant to inflation. Unlike government currencies that can be printed endlessly. But if Bitcoin is so powerful, why hasn't the world fully switched to it? Because Bitcoin isn't just a currency, it's a threat to the traditional financial system. And that's exactly what we'll cover next. Why governments and banks fear Bitcoin. Bitcoin isn't just a new kind of money, it's a direct challenge to the traditional financial system. Governments control traditional money. They print it, manipulate it, and regulate it. Banks control transactions. They decide who can send and receive money, charge fees, and track every payment. Inflation steals from savers. Fiat money loses value over time as governments print more of it. Bitcoin breaks this system. Governments can't print more Bitcoin. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins, no more, no less. Banks aren't needed. Bitcoin transactions are peer-to-peer, meaning people can send money directly to each other without intermediaries. Bitcoin is global and borderless. It works anywhere in the world, no bank account required. For governments and financial institutions, this is a massive problem. They lose control over the money supply. They lose the ability to track every financial transaction. They lose revenue from transaction fees and inflation. That's why China banned Bitcoin mining. Some governments have restricted Bitcoin transactions. Central banks are now creating their own digital currencies, CBDCs, to compete with Bitcoin. But despite all the opposition, Bitcoin keeps growing. More businesses accept it as payment. More investors see it as digital gold, a hedge against inflation. More people use it for borderless, censorship-resistant payments. So what does the future hold for Bitcoin? Will it replace traditional money? Or will governments find a way to shut it down? The truth is, no one knows for sure. But one thing is certain, Bitcoin has already changed the world. And whether you believe in it or not, understanding how it works is no longer optional, it's essential. Like and subscribe for more deep dives into financial technology, economic shifts, and the future of money. Do you think Bitcoin will replace traditional currency? Let's discuss in the comments.